Hello, welcome back to the Azura Media Club, home of the Bad Girl Coven. For this Christmas time of year that I usually am not jolly at all for because I have to hear the music all the time at work. But the one time I'll allow hearing Christmas music is during good Christmas movies. And despite my grinchiness most of the time about Christmas, I admit that I like the concept. I don't like the concept of presents and stuff. That's fine. It's great to give people that you care about something that they want and have that special moment, but it shouldn't be all about that. And a movie that understands that better than anybody else is one of my favorite Christmas movies, and one of most people's favorite Christmas movies is Elf. The Will Ferrell classic comedy Christmas movie that, when I was a kid and I used to watch it, when it came out, it was like, yeah, this is funny and that's why I like the movie, but there's something so much greater to the movie than just the comedy, than just the Will Ferrell is funny aspect of the movie. And that's what I want to talk about because, I knew about it the whole time, but I finally kind of got it to a place where I can maybe impart it onto everyone else. And this isn't going to be probably some groundbreaking revelation, but what's great about the movie is the aspects of the true spirit of Christmas, and the family and the community aspect and the believing. If you, even to remove it from a religious context, but to put it back into that religious context as well, what was the original point of Christmas, right? It was Jesus' birth, and that's why we celebrate it, right? Because of that. It was all about believing that this child was the real Messiah, that kind of thing. He was a miracle, all of this stuff. So, believing. And I think that's kind of how that got onto the whole Santa Claus thing, because it's all about believing in something like that. And another great Christmas classic, Polar Express, actually goes into that a lot too, like believing in Santa Claus, and that's kind of the whole point of that movie, which we'll talk about some other week. But Elf has that as a message, and what's great about this movie is everything kind of always works together to make you feel and have just those warm, fuzzy Christmas vibes, And the believing part intertwines with the family stuff, which intertwines with the, Christmas spirit aspect, the community aspect of it as well. The best way to spread Christmas cheer is singing loud for all to hear. The scene at the end is so great. The reason that ending is so great, and I always knew this, I always loved the ending, but if you watch the rest of the movie leading up to the ending, they build it up very well, because you start off with this guy, this buddy guy, and everything's great, and then he's had problems adjusting to the elf stuff because he's a human, right? That's the whole thing. So he goes on this journey to go and find his family and try to reconnect with that side of him, but it's like this cold, sterile sort of man, Walter Hobbs. He's just a business guy, and he's not even really connected to his family at all. Maybe his wife, like, a little bit, but even she mentions in the movie, you haven't exactly been there for your son. You haven't been the best father. And he just kind of shrugs that off, like, or whatever. But he's starting to realize. That's the thing. That's why I love Walter's character so much. Is because as you go through the movie, he's this cold, cynical man, just wrapped up in these like, this deep cynicalness or depression or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. But he's wrapped up in this. He doesn't want to feel this holiday spirit. He doesn't want to be a family person. He's just so focused on his business. And even that he's not really even caring that much about. He doesn't even put in that much effort. He's kind of just a bad dude all around. But he can be a good person. Anybody can get on the nice list, right? That's a line from the movie. It's great because it's like that's the point of the movie is he grows with Buddy, this guy who is like the total opposite of him, this total joy, sunshine, ball of Christmas spirit that he wants nothing to do with throughout the whole movie, and Buddy has to like fight and claw his way in with kindness and happiness to just get Walter to open up even just the slightest bit. And he just loves him regardless. He loves Walter even though he is this like stiff, calculating sort of man. And it's like, he doesn't give a shit because that's his family. And to Buddy, that means everything. That was the past, that is really what he wanted. He just wanted to meet his dad, and he wanted his dad to love him, right? And it finally happens at the end of the movie with all of this build up in between. And there's even a bunch of emotional scenes where like the scene where he yells at him and he says, just get out of my life. I don't want you anymore, man. Just like go away. We don't. Yeah, and even his kid, Michael has like a scene like that before the snowball fight. He's just like, go away. I don't want anything to do with you, basically. And everyone kind of has that scene with him. Emily, she's a good sport about the whole thing. I mean, they all know he's weird, and they all think he's like mentally disturbed or something, but it's like, the thing is, he didn't grow up in their world, so he's just different, He grew up in an elf's world. Also, the main theme is like the same as the Polar Express, the musical theme. Like, I don't know why that is, or what that theme is, or why it's a Christmas theme, obviously, but is it significant? They are obviously allowed to do that? Was it the same composer or something? Is this a, fucking Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation, the video game, like the title theme from Rygar kind of thing? Nobody understands what I'm talking about. Anyway, so it's just so special because you go this whole movie, this guy is so closed-minded, so close-hearted. He does not want to open up to this Buddy, but you see the cracks slowly emerge. Buddy's asking all these silly things of him, tuck me in, and he's like, I'm not gonna tuck you in, you're like 40 years old, you can fucking do this yourself. And he's like, oh please, I'll go right to sleep. And then he does it, and then he like starts a tickle fight with him and stuff, and he's like, I love you. He just keeps telling his dad he loves him. He sees him for the first time, and he just says, I love you, and he sings about it, and he doesn't even care. Walter's just like, that's weird. He doesn't want to say it back, but it all comes together in the end. He kind of learns and grows a little bit, I mean, it is because of Buddy. He tells him to get out, and then he feels really bad about that, when you can see him in his office, and he's just like, oh my god, what the fuck did I do, This is going to be the problem. There's going to be a lot of licensed songs on here. Also, the score is just amazing, by the way. All the best Christmas songs, along with an original score that's just, like, really great. I just really love it. Anyway, and the aesthetic of the movie, it's colorful, it's Christmassy, it's got the New York aspects, which is kind of its own thing, like, it perfectly blends everything together. I think that's great. I mean, but anyway, sorry. And, like, all the characters are great. Even the side characters. And not, so, like, but the main dynamic there between Walter and his son, Buddy. It's like, he doesn't want to even accept that he's his son. But by the end of the movie, not only does he accept that, and after they fight or whatever, he yells at him and he goes off. And then once they finally reconnect for a second there, they're looking for Buddy. They're so mad about that. Also, he tells his boss off. That's like a whole plot line throughout the movie, is he's so scared of what his boss is going to think. And he's doing all this stuff to just, make him happy and stuff. And that's how we all are, right? We're all really, I mean, maybe not all of us, but, we try to aspire to do well at our jobs and just make it through. And, Walter's kind of giving the bare minimum sometimes, but we all kind of do that sometimes. So, my point is, he's in a bad situation. He wants to pitch this thing to his boss and get a real good hit on his hands, so that everything's good again. He thinks that's what he wants, but he doesn't want that. What he really wants is the love of his family, and he gets that by the end. I mean, he doesn't know that he wants that, but that's what he gets, and that's what he realizes he wanted the whole time. So, basically, yeah, so because, like, his kid, Michael, he comes in, he's like, Buddy's missing, like, we gotta go look for him, and he, you know, you can see it on his face, and he says to the guy, he's finally starting to realize, it all builds up, every single scene with him and Buddy and his family, they all have little things to build up to these kind of moments, and that's what's great about the film. That's where it shines, is that these moments are great, and they've been built up to, everything works. You know, there's some silly scenes in there, but they all kind of work. Like, you're gonna say, like, what's the point of the mailroom scene? Well, it's because so he feels mad at Buddy, so that, like, you know, so that the when he yells at him, it feels built up, it feels right, you know. But, like, see that, you know, then you get to this moment in the park there, and Buddy's like looking at him, and he's like, I gotta tell you something. He's like, no, I gotta tell you something, you know? And he's like, I don't hate you, and I'm sorry what I said, and I love you. You're my son, and I love you. He says that. And it's just, it's such an emotional moment. I'm kind of getting, like, little tears thinking about it right now, because it's just, like, it's kind of like that scene from Young Sheldon, you know, which I've reviewed, at this point in your timeline I've reviewed last week. Sorry, I thought I'd do the, cardigan thing there for, like, a Christmassy vibe. I don't have any, like, Christmassy stuff, but it's warm in here. My fucking thing works way too well, so now I'm cooling to course correct. Anyway, yeah, so, it's just a really powerful and great moment, you know? And it's such a wholesome movie, sandwiched between, like, yeah, some Will Ferrell comedy and stuff, but even that stuff all works. It's not like your typical, like, I don't know, like, like, he could do, like, some really, like, sort of raunchy humor or something, but it's not that at all. It's all very wholesome. You know, it's got some Will Ferrell-isms in there, but he plays it so well. And so they have that moment. And then from there, even farther, that helps him to be like, and what's great is everyone in the family, and even Jovi, you know, Zooey Deschanel's character, who I love. It's her best role, as far as I'm concerned, because, you know, she always plays this role in every other movie where she, like, gets betrayed at some point. She's, oh, how could you do that to me? Oh, and it's so annoying every time it happens, like a yes man. And, like, there's a couple other movies where it happens, and I just, like, stop this. Why do you have to play the same character in every movie? But this is the one. It's like, she's on hard times, you know, she's not wealthy or anything, but she's working on it. She lives in New York. It's expensive to live there, you know? So, like, she does the best with what she has. You know, they shut off her water. She's got to go sing in the shower at work or whatever. And, so, but, you know, like, it's great, because she even starts off as kind of this hardened character, and, you know, over the movie, Buddy kind of breaks her down, and they fall in love, and it's great. It's so cute. They're so good together. They have such nice chemistry. You know, she's real depressed about her job and whatever. Maybe not depressed, but, like, you know, she's not into it. You know, she's like, I'm just trying to get through the holidays, and he's like, oh no, the holidays are the greatest time of the year. And it's like, I wish I could be like Buddy, you know? Like, I feel like her more so than him most of the time about, like, the holidays and stuff. But, she gets to see through his eyes, through Buddy, like, how great Christmas can be. And that's what Buddy is. He's like this light in this cynical world of, like, corporate Christmas, you know, where it's like, it's all about the presents and stuff. And Buddy's like, no, it's about the family and the community. I mean, doesn't say these things necessarily, but this is what the movie is about, you know? So I love her character. I love their relationship throughout the thing, and that's another really good emotional aspect of it. You know, I love a good little romance there, and they just are so cute together, and you really see her open up to him as, you know, and he just thinks she's beautiful and all this stuff, and they have such positive vibes together, good chemistry, you know, and when she sees him on TV, bam, she's there to go and help him out and try to fix whatever the problem is. And, you know, does she even necessarily believe that it's Santa Claus? I don't know. We don't know. She doesn't probably know at that point. Every character at that point, that's my point of this. Walter, friggin', you know, Jovi, Michael, and Emily, they all have this little bit of doubt, you know, that this is Santa Claus, but they don't care because Buddy is there. This is something that he, you know, believes in, and I feel like it's like they kind of believe, but they're slowly opening up to the idea. It's the whole movie. I don't want to say it's a slow burn, but that's kind of what it is. There's little pieces everywhere leading up to a very cathartic ending. It's so well written. And at the end, when they all start singing the Christmas Carol because of what she told, or what Buddy told her at the beginning of the movie, you know, about the best way to spread Christmas cheer, singing loud for all to hear. And then she starts singing, despite their first conversation where she doesn't want to sing in public because she is, like, anxious about that or scared about that or whatever, you know. And she slowly, like, with the showers, it slowly keeps going. And yeah, and there's a scene in the ending where she's like singing with with Walter there or whatever, and that's like her arc, you know, is like this whole thing. One of her little pieces of her arc there is this singing thing, and so she finally just accepts it. She's like, I've got to go up there, I've got to sing. Buddy believes I've got a beautiful singing voice, like I've got to believe that, right? She believes. So then she goes up there and she starts singing, and then everyone's really confused, but then they all just look and they start singing too. You know, at first it's just Michael, and then it's Emily. They all start to realize, they all start to believe, you know, and that's the point of the movie, is the Santa part of the movie, is that the sleigh can't fly because nobody has any Christmas spirit anymore, because it's cynical, and it's like, it's all about the presents and shit, and nobody cares about that. They all just care about their jobs. They care about anything else. They don't care about their families and stuff. And Buddy going out into the world and spreading this cheer, like, frickin' brings the Christmas spirit back. And literally everyone you've seen him influence throughout the movie gets a little bit of a part of a montage of you seeing all of these people singing this Christmas Carol. And like, to most people, you don't even think about it. You're just like, oh, that's cool, that's cute, I like how they brought back all the characters. No, it's so much more than that. It's very meaningful, because it's everyone that he's influenced. It's all the cheer that he spread is finally paying off. And it's not only helping him and his family and stuff, it's helping Santa Claus. It's helping the world have Christmas spirit, because he brought back Christmas spirit enough for Santa to fly his sleigh, you know? And the motor thing, it's like a message about how everything's becoming like technology, and it's like corporate and whatever, you know? How does Santa's sleigh fly now? Well, nobody believes in Santa anymore, so now it's about, you know, we gotta replace it with a motor or something that only kind of works. You know, it's just a band-aid to a solution there. And, like, when they say that at the end, that Buddy saved Christmas, he really did. He saved Christmas. He got Santa Claus back. He spread Christmas cheer. He literally saved the concept of Christmas. And he's still doing it by having this movie, you know? We get to talk about it and feel that every year whenever we watch the movie, you know? And so they all start singing this Christmas Carol, and it puts the Clausometer thing back to 100 or 90 or whatever, but then Walter's not singing, he's just kind of mouthing along, right? He's the last piece of the puzzle. Like, everyone else is believing at this point, and Michael looks at him, he's like, you're not even singing, and he's like, what's the big deal? I don't care. What does it matter if I sing, you know? And it's like, he's like, Dad, and he starts singing, and then, boom! Santa's sleigh flies right over him, you know? It's like, it's such a cathartic moment, because it's like, he finally also believes, and he sees that, and you know, and seeing isn't believing, sure, but for him, since he's so hardened on all this stuff, it's the final straw that breaks the camel's back, you know, and it's beautiful, and it's such a good moment, and it's such a good ending, and people, like, are like, they don't get it. Whenever I say these things, and I'm like, you have to, like, put all of your characters that were affected by your main character in the ending of your story, because it shows the journey we've been on, and it shows who they've impacted, what arc they've been on. It shows the whole story, like, quickly and effectively, so that you remember why you care so much. And in this case, there's so many layers to it that it's so brilliant and beautiful, and that is why you put all of your characters in your ending, at least that kind of scene at the end of your movie or book or whatever, because it just works so well. It just works. You do the thing, you do it right, it works. It just works. So I'm serious. Like, that's I don't know what that trope is called, but like, you have to do that. It's so freaking good. It's the best. It always gets me every time they do that. If I even care remotely about the story, that's always a good thing. Like, or like when your hero is like in the last battle and it's like he's all alone, and like you don't think there's any way that anybody else comes, and it's that moment, it's the fucking endgame moment where they're just like, on your left, and everyone's here, and they all just fucking take out Thanos and shit. That's what I'm talking about. That kind of moment. Everyone knows that one, right? They get that. Like, that's the thing. The Thanos, the on your left moment. I don't know what the fuck we're gonna call it, but it's so good. It's so good. Like, okay, so not only that, right? This whole story has such an emotional core to it that people don't even realize, because it's sandwiched between all this, like, Will Ferrell, you know, comedy and stuff, which is all great, and all of these, like, silly little character moments from this buddy. That's what everyone kind of thinks about, but under the surface, or maybe on the surface, I don't know, maybe everyone knows this. It's just, I get really, like, passionate about this stuff because it's such good writing, you know? It's just, it's so good, so well done. Like, imagine, like, it's so perfectly, it's not even that long either. I think it's like an hour and a half or like an hour and 40 minutes or something. Every minute of that is, like, so well spent. Imagine the sequel actually got made to this movie, and it just ruined everything. Like, that would have been just heartbreaking. This is such a good movie that I hope they never make a sequel. I seriously hope they never make... It's like making a sequel to Polar Express. Like, you could probably do it, but why? You don't need to do it. Stop. Never remake Elf either. Don't do it. I'm a fucking gun for whoever does it, man. It's like Back to the Future. It's sacred. Don't touch it. No Disney remake of this shit. Please. It's so good. It's already perfect. You don't touch perfection. It's already perfect. So, yeah. What else? What am I missing? What else do I need to talk about? I talked about the characters. That, to me, is the main core of the thing there, you know? And the rest of it's great. All the rest of it's great, too. I mean, it's just this guy's journey, exploring the real world, understanding how that works, and there's a lot of good jokes and gags in there, and yeah, it's just, there's so many quotable lines too and stuff, and it's just like, you know, so many good moments, and like, but at the end of the day, only some of that matters. Like, those other things are all great. They're all fine. They're all good. I mean, the rest of the movie has the inception of these concepts that carry on to the end there, and they're cleverly kind of hidden in between stuff there that like so you don't even realize, like, not that you don't realize, but you don't really care that you're being fed this message, you know? It's so well crafted into the story. It's just so, like, thoroughly ingrained that it just is so natural and well written. Like, I don't know how to explain, like, maybe I have done a good job, or maybe I haven't, I don't know. I don't know how to explain, like, how good of writing that is, like, that it's so interweaved or whatever. Like, that's not easy to do. I like that's stuff I strive to do. Like I gotta like that's the kind of stuff when I like go back to revise, I'm gonna have to like, you know, weave in properly. I don't even know how I'm gonna do that. Like that's talent right there, you know, like or hard work or something. I don't know, all of it, you know. It's just like, so at the end of the day, that's why it's such a good Christmas movie, and it's such a good movie in general. You know, it's not just some funny Will Ferrell comedy movie. I mean, there's plenty of those, right? And I mean, this was right when he was kind of, you know, getting big, and he was big from this, obviously, but like, it just, it it's heartwarming, it's wholesome, it's all about family. It shows the real core values of Christmas and the Christmas spirit, believing, and it's not about consumerism. You know, I love Jingle All the Way. That's what I'm gonna probably do this year, but like, you know, that movie's kind of about how family can overcome consumerism, but it's still about consumerism a little bit at the end of the day, because it's like, you know, all he wants is to get this kid this Turbo Man doll that, you know, it's like, that's the kind of vibes, like, for Christmas that really bother me specifically, you know? It's just these, like, corporate consumerist vibes. I just hate it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Um, so yeah. Anyway, it's just a classic, kind of a modern classic Christmas movie, right? I mean, it's so good. It's just, yeah, there's a reason it's as good, as well known as, you know, as played as it is. I mean, I know it's a little bit played out. You know, I'm sure people are sick of it or whatever, but like, it's genuinely good. I watch it, I think, like, every year, and you know, maybe some years it doesn't hit me as hard as it does, but like, these and this are what get me into the Christmas spirit, you know? Like, if these movies can do it for me, like, that's saying something, because I am just so burnt out on Christmas every fucking year, and especially working retail. I just hate it. I just cannot stand it. I go to work and I hear the Christmas music and I have to drown it out, or I will just, like, ugh. I'll just, like, lose my mind. Like, it's like the same 10 songs, like, by 5 different, you know, like 20 different artists, and they just fucking play them again and again, and then they've been playing Christmas music over in the Christmas tree area since, like, fucking October, and I'm so sick of it. But when I hear it in this movie, it just sounds right, and it sounds perfect, and it's beautiful, and it serves a point. It serves a purpose, you know? And if somebody like me, who feels like Walter at the beginning of the movie about Christmas every fucking year, you know, um, can be touched by something like this, and actually start to feel something, a Christmas spirit of some sort, um, and many other things that this movie gets me to feel, then I think that's the sign of a true masterpiece, a true classic Christmas movie. You know, I love this movie. It's great. It's fantastic. Watching it again every year cements why it's so special and why it works so well, you know? Um, yeah, and it just gets me in the Christmas mood, you know? Christmas vibes. I think that's what I typically use Christmas movies for, is to remind me of sort of that childlike sense of Christmas, that Christmas spirit, that nostalgia, you know, a little bit too. Um, and, you know, like, I know a lot of people are going to throw that at me, like, you're just nostalgic about this movie, you watched it a lot when it came out. It's like, yeah, that's it too, but all of that good character work and all of that really well done, like, placement of timing, of like, characters slowly opening up and learning these things and stuff, it's like, all of that is really just so well done. That's why the movie works. Like, I don't think this movie would be quite as classic if it wasn't for stuff like that. You know, like the skeleton brings it together. You know, that would be a good enough Christmas movie. I think that would be a good enough reason to make it a, you know, sort of great Christmas movie to watch, or just like a sort of forgettable one. Like, oh yeah, it's in the rotation, you know, but the heart, the soul, and the spirit of the movie makes it so much more than that. It makes it something really special, you know? It makes it something that really embodies the spirit of Christmas and the family and all of that, and it just gives you good emotions and good vibes and gets you right into that Christmas spirit. So for that, you know, if it isn't apparent already, I have to give Elf a 10 out of 10. The music's great too, the atmosphere is good. I mean, just everything about it, the character work is just like so good. And there's great comedy in there too, and that's great. I mean, oftentimes it's the comedies that still really instill, I mean, my favorite movie of all time. I mean, I don't know if others consider it a comedy, but it is probably it's a comedy, you know, it's Pee-wee's Big Adventure, you know, and part of that is like the feels too, but like, man, like this movie just has everything all there, and it's all at once. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, it's great. It's great. Elf is great. You know that. I just wanted to share my love for Elf, my affinity for Elf culture, or whatever, like he says in the movie. So, yeah. It's a really good movie. It's beautiful. It's so good. So, until next time, this is Emily, Azura Media Club. I was gonna say the other thing from the other channel, but no, that's not it. This is Emily with the Azura Media Club saying Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas or whatever. Like, Happy Christmas. That's British, you know, but like, I'll say it anyway for my British people. Except for J.K. Rowling, she can go somewhere else. So, anyway, yeah, never forget, magic comes from the heart. I mean, I think that's here truer than a lot of videos that I do, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Emily, out.